Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to Overwatch Central. So there's been a lot of changes in the game's current landscape and how the environment of Overwatch currently works. Not just because of Brigitte's addition, but also the Hanzo stuff that's going on in the game too. So because of that, you have a big meta shift. You know, we've done videos of winners and losers in the past, but this is like the Avengers Civil War. Everybody's on either A or B. One side winners, one side losers. It's really one of those cases where there's not many heroes in the game that aren't really changed it up at all. But I'm not inherently saying that some heroes are always good and some heroes are always bad nowadays. Always pay attention to compositions and maps. It's not set in stone. Now the main thing that I want to go over with this isn't only anecdotal experience from myself and Miska, but we also checked our overbuffs win rate trends to see if our experiences hold true when looking at the statistics too. We'll start with heroes that you should be playing because this list is quite long and so I don't want to spend too long talking about each particular hero. It's in no particular order, but we will start with Brigitte and Hanzo because obviously Brigitte has changed the way that the game works, and even with the buffs that she has and is going to get on the PTR, she's still a force to be reckoned with, and her playstyle really has changed up how the game is played. It's less about dive, more about those death volley compositions, and honestly I quite like this kind of meta. I do feel the triple support is frustrating to play in the sense that nobody really dies, but is in a really good spot, and definitely if you haven't had the chance to play her, do pick her up. And Hanzo, not only is Hanzo more viable in the sense that Scatter Arrow is no longer in the game and Storm Arrow is a little bit more consistent when it comes to DPS, but Hanzo puts out a lot of DPS now. I feel like Hanzo does get his ultimate far too quickly in the current game, but that may be changed up on the PTR. The way that he plays now is definitely more viable, it works a lot more, people are flocking to him, and they're finding effective use with him too. The fact that you can play long range as a sniper but also play close range alongside means that you just have this very interesting dynamic hero instead of what he was before, where it was just kind of very difficult to make him work. But if you pair that with him being long range, then you have the perfect storm of a hero. Why is that? Well, Brigitte, with her effective strength, is a lot better when the targets are close to her, right? Because she can activate her passive, she can shield bash, she can just be really annoying. So heroes that can fire from distance and do a lot of stuff that really droughts out Brigitte's effective healing because she can't activate her passive are really good. And Hanzo's certainly one of them, but you could certainly highlight Junkrat, Widowmaker, and PHARAH for the same reasons. Widowmaker is long range, kinda in her own meta at the moment, very popular in the Overwatch League and in the highest tiers, but what is interesting is that double snipers is a very valid strategy. Having it in our own games, you kind of think, oh, we have Widow Hanzo, this isn't going to go well. But the Hanzo can play more close range and mid range now, so it's not really that bad. And when you have teams running Brigitte and the 2 DPS firing from distance, she can't really do much at all. And so on maps like Dorado's Second Point or Gibraltar, double sniper does kind of work really well. I mentioned Junkrat, even with the nerf, he still holds strong. The consistent spam shutting down death ball comes from Brigitte, which means that he can get his ultimate fairly quickly, break down shields, get rid of armor, and he has free reign from a distance because of his long range way of playing. So if a team's running Brigitte and they're not prepared for Junkrat, he's going to completely dominate. And of course I mentioned PHARAH, fairly obvious to why. She can fire from distance, does a lot of damage, Brigitte can't really handle her, and if teams are stacking supports or tanks, they don't have those mid to long range heroes unless they are running snipers, but you know, some of the time that's not going to be the case. So I've been seeing Valkyrie play a lot of PHARAH recently, and he's having a grand old time. Definitely worth picking her up more if you want to. Season 10 has been deemed to see Season 10 by some with all of the crowd control, and that has a lot to do with Doomfist too. He works so well with Brigitte, not only having a lot of stuns, being able to just stun lock some heroes out completely. It's like Chipster said in a video that we did previously, he's a meta-dependent hero, and this is the perfect time to be storming out with the fist and just tearing tanks apart. But we'll get onto that in a second. Bastion is a surprising hero on this list. He's actually really, really good. He synergizes well with Brigitte with the use of armor, and now that Tracer's been nerfed with a pulse bomb, she could no longer realistically kill him. With all the healing going out, if you have a Moira, Brigitte, a Mercy, even if he does die you res him, it does mean that pirate ship could be a more prevalent strategy in the future too. I was watching Sideshow and One Amongst Many stream, and they had a Bastion strategy on Gibraltar, and it's scary. Honestly, try it if you haven't already. It's so difficult to take down. We'll go over the tanks more or less in heroes that you shouldn't be playing, but I certainly think a character that's worth highlighting that you should be playing more is Zarya. She does synergize well with Reinhardt, who also has gone up in popularity and usage, but I will go over that shortly. But she does provide an ultimate that can actually kill people too. She's fun to play, people really enjoy playing Zarya, and in this more dive-ball-y, slow composition and play style, where sustain is really important, but putting out a ton of damage is more important, Zarya is perfect for this opportunity. She doesn't feed as much ult charge as Roadhog, and Graviton's just a great ultimate to have in a lot of cases, especially with Hanzo's pick rate going up alongside. When it comes to all of the supports, you could basically say that all of them are on this list. We could very well be on our way to a triple support meta, and luckily in that case the whole category feels much more competitive because you have the different styles of combinations and combos which work out quite well, but it is a really good time for the supports in the game currently, and that does include Ana. It's hard to say how good Ana will become this season with changes on the way. With the ones that are currently on the PTR, I'm not 100% convinced that she'll be completely viable again, but I do feel that she's going to be good if Brigitte becomes strong too. The anti-heal is going to be massive in these cases. She's also more viable with her counters becoming less meta like the flankers, but the game is just fitting more into her style, but it's more of a case of we'll see. Now I quickly want to go over heroes that you may want to avoid, but this is a case by case basis. But I certainly want to mention the flankers of Genji, Tracer, Sombra, those kind of heroes that require you to get into their backline and chip away with small units of damage per hit. The flankers in general have a much worse time against Brigitte, all of the CC that's currently in the game, Doomfist, McCree, and because you're having more stacked lineups with Reinhardt and Zarya, and imagine that the enemy supports are running Brigitte Moira as their supports, who do you realistically try and dive? You're very much out on your own too, because you're not going to have follow-up from a attacking Winston or Diva, because they know better to not jump in with you. Tracer especially is on this list because of the Pulse Bomb nerf. They could revert this, and Tracer could still be in a bad spot. I mentioned Winston and Diva there just a second ago, and most of the tanks are on this list, barring the likes of Zarya that I mentioned before. But I do want to add Reinhardt onto this loser list to better explain my point. Reinhardt's win rate as well as his usage has gone up, much like Zarya because they're a lot more popular, but it's more he's a loser in terms of experience now as he's more frustrated to play, as are most of the tanks on this list. He's the best tank to run alongside Brigitte, but is really frustrating to play into one. And then you have Doomfist and all of these other heroes that are going to burst on your shield from distance. It's not fun to play main tank currently. So even if they are a lot better because the meta helps them out in that sense, it's more the experience of playing him that puts him on the losers list. There isn't an awful lot of losers in this category, but it kind of depends what you play. As I said at the start of the video, some of the heroes that you shouldn't be playing in Season 10 might be good in a certain situation, and some of the heroes that you should be picking up in Season 10 may not be the optimal pick. It's not set in stone, it's just there to bring out some heroes that are actually quite good currently. But let us know what you think of this. Any heroes that you would add to the list or take off of it, do let us know in the comments below. And until next time, take care. We'll see you then.